I
Yep.
don't know. They may have to do the same, because if it gets voted down, they go to contingency. If they needed 3.5 million in funds with 14% staff increase, how many are they going to have to cut if they go back to contingency? I don't know how they could run it.
No,
Guys,
I don't know.
I've switched over to go live on YouTube because that has to happen on this platform.
Okay.
I'm gonna start recording.
Okay, there's Matt Fuller.
Looks like Dan, are you
Yeah.
there?
I'm here.
Yes, sir.
All right, and Lester, you're with us, right?
I am.
Okay,
So we've got 4.
and we're recording.
Okay, so we have 4 board members here, so we do have a quorum.
Right.
I did send Ed Carpenter a text because he isn't always good at the email. So maybe he'll be joining here shortly. I don't know. I didn't hear back from him, but so anyways, we can call this meeting to order. The roll call here. We have Mr. Losaw,
Here.
Mr. Cook,
Yes,
and Mr. Washburn.
Here.
Okay, and then also in attendance, Mr. Fuller and Joe Brilling, as well as Mary from the sewer district. Okay, so anyways, everybody had a chance to look at minutes from 3:10. If you have any questions or want to make a motion to accept,
move to accept.
motion by Mr. Cook, second.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Washburn. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Old business? Joe?
Yeah, just a little bit of a update on the COVID staffing and I had a quick talk with the county administrator today. They're looking at go up to 50% staffing. Got to maintain the 6-foot distance and masks. At the county, they do have some infrared thermometers. I guess we're in the second wave of openings, and then government is in the, what do they call it, the sub something. He's thinking that 6/1, the county would go to 50% staffing by the 15th of June, possibly opening the building to the public. But that remains to be seen. Obviously, it will be discussed, I'm sure, at Friday's Board of Supervisors meeting. So I am going into the office tomorrow to have a discussion on various topics with Ray and Alan, and we'll talk about that for us as well at the district. We can't go to more than 50%. That's what the county has said, that the maximum we can have is 50%. So we are falling behind on preventive maintenance things. And I've already fielded questions from Alan and Ray on when we can get more staff in to get this stuff done. My hesitation is that the county has also said they're paying time and a half for anyone that works. So if we go back to 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, I don't really want to take on that cost.
Joe, I think that will change on Friday.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, I
yes.
think we talked about that this morning.
Okay. That's good. So if they, if that is the case, then I'll talk that over with Ray and Alan, and it would mean instead of only having one guy on the collections, we'd have 2 guys. Instead of only one guy at the plant, we'd have 2 guys. Instead of only part-time out at compost, we'd have at least one person there every day. Everything is, our heads are above water, as far as operational day-to-day things, like the cleaning of the sewers and pump station preventive maintenance things. some of the plant preventive well, most of the plant preventive maintenance things are falling behind. So that will only come back and bite you, has the potential to bite you down the road. So I'm guessing if not Monday, then the following Monday, we'd probably go back to at least 2 people 5 days a week on the street and at the plant. We'll see. We have had, I've had some discussions or emails with Wendell related to the plant upgrade. They need to get some borings, some soil borings around the plant and for some of the stuff that we've got planned. That will happen in a week or 2. Obviously, contractor needs to follow all the precautions. So we'll see how everybody feels about whether or not we need to check temperatures daily and things like that. The thermometer will be, I'm going to probably pick that up tomorrow on my way through down to the plant. And we'll see. I don't know if we need to get that intense about it, but if it makes staff feel better, then we can.
Right.
Projects are moving forward.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so that's good. And that's about it.
sewer billing.
If you could unmute and comment if I say something out of line or out of turn here. Billing data has been compiled. Mary's coming in 1.5 days a week or so to keep up with invoicing and to work on billing and timekeeping. We think we can get it out June 1st. We just got an email from the Village of Fort Edward. They had some changes in the water billing, some adjustments that they made. We're going to try and get those to our initial and save ourselves some paperwork on the other end, having to do the adjustments later. But we're pretty sure we can get it out June 1st.
That's agreed, Joe.
I'll know better next week. I'm sorry.
I said I agree. That should, I think we should be able to make that happen.
All right. And as long as that ends up being the truth, I'll next week or before June 1st, I'll try to get some sort of an announcement on our webpage and because we have a lot of phone calls asking about the bills and whether or not they missed it or we missed it or so we'll get that out there June 1st.
You know, Joe, I think you're right. I know the village has gotten some calls, people wondering about the bill, but there was a lot of them that had commented that they thought it was a good thing that they weren't getting both the water bill and a sewer bill in the same week. And actually our collections, they said, were way better than normal. So I don't know if, there's a lot of them that, to pay $100 water bill and $150 sewer bill in the same month, splitting it up like another month or 2 down the road, it seems to be more of them are paying it. I don't know if you guys have seen that in Hudson Falls or not, but they said they've seen a increase in collections. So, and I guess if it's something maybe we could possibly look at, if it does make a difference for everybody collecting the money and not having to, roll it over to our village tax bill in June, or you guys the county bill for January. But I guess logistically, I don't know when, you need the monies and all that kind of stuff. So something to think about though.
Okay. Can that be done, Matt?
I was just thinking that, kind of quickly flowing through my head, like the cascading logistics of that, right? Like if it isn't re-levied to the village, then it isn't re-levied to the county. And if it's not to the county within the tax year, then it's not subject to re-levy. So that might be something, Joe, we got to talk to Roger about.
Yeah, the sewer, of course, just goes to the county. It doesn't go to the village at all.
Oh, yeah, then you're fine.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
just
that's
the
great. I'm
water
sorry.
goes,
Water.
just the
That's right.
water gets re-levied.
That's right.
So, I mean, even if, like, what do we send ours out? The 1st of April normally?
Yep.
And
Yep.
you guys do the
That's
same.
right.
If you guys set yours out the 1st of May, I think would be easier on some people, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know if we have to do something to change the district formation information and all that.
Right, yeah, you know, I hear you on that end, yeah. But then
They've
you
got,
won't be collecting again until, well, I guess, what do we do, September,
Yeah, we do October.
yeah,
October, so then you'd be November if you were a month, that, whatever. Just the
we
fall.
are a county body, so that would all come under the emergency. It could come under an emergency order out of the board of supervisor, or the board of supervisors. You know, Sam Hall essentially could do that in an emergency order. He could delay the billing.
Well, we already did that. This
Yeah, exactly.
this April billing, but Matt is saying that maybe we could offset the dates of water billing and sewer billing.
Oh,
Start-
going forward?
yeah,
going
moving
forward.
forward.
Yeah,
People-
hypothetically, you can do that.
Okay. All right.
Just a thought. Just a
Yep.
thought.
Yep. Right.
I've had a lot of comments from people that it's a lot easier on senior citizens and all those,
Mhm.
you know, others that it makes a difference for some people.
Yeah.
And then they aren't getting hit with I don't know, we get a 5% and if they roll it over in June tax, and the county, I think, hits them 9% in November. I mean,
Right.
it's a lot of extra money they're paying if they don't pay that bill.
Well, and honestly, if it means we don't have to do a bunch of billing adjustments,
Right.
get, you know, like Janelle said that she had a bunch of billing adjustments that they did already.
You can make
Those take
corrections.
time. Those take time for us to do after the fact.
Yep.
Get that information before we send the billing out, then that might give us some time and energy in the long run too.
Right. Something to think about.
Yep, okay.
New business. Feeder
We
Street
need-
project.
Yeah, I need to get approval to award the Feeder Street project to Tech Industries for $466,760 for the Feeder Street project. They want to get going. They want to be able to, you know, solidify their construction schedule. We want them to get going. So if we can get approval, a motion to approve Tech Industries for that, we'll get that up to the Board of Supervisors and award that, and we can move forward with this project.
Okay. Can we get a motion to award the bid to Tech Industries for the Feeder Street project?
Real quick though, Joe, they're all insurance bonded and all that stuff?
Yeah, they have already sent everything. Jim Edwards told me they've already submitted. They're ready to
Okay.
go.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
can
make that
some-
motion then.
All right, motion by Mr. Cook. We have a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Losaw, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Amendment for change order.
Technical
for Feeder
services.
Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you remember, originally, the sewer district and the village of Hudson Falls were going to do this project. That didn't happen, so we went the route to put it out full bid for just the sewer work and the storm separation. And that's what we just approved was that. So the original engineering did not include site construction observation. So there's a $19,800 technical services change order that includes full-time construction observation, as well as some additional survey work that had to be done so that we could meet the county's paving timeline. That brings the total for engineering for this project up to $64,000. Hopefully, it doesn't end up being $19,800. You know, let's hope everything goes smoother and doesn't last as long is, and I forget what their that 19 time wise, what that, I think it's 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks of construction. I'm thinking it'll probably be a little less than that. You know, I would recommend that we go ahead and do it. We could also, we'll work with CT Mail to kind of minimize whatever that observation cost is. Put one of our guys on the site when we can to kind of keep an eye on things. I'd even be willing to go out there and be the construction guy, observation.
What
So-
does happen though, Joe, I know we had that on a particular job, is they really won't listen to you or one of your guys, and they really you can't tell them what to do. The engineer can, you
Right,
know, it's,
yep,
I found that to be the case. We had Bobby Dickinson, which was a big help, and he helped them out a lot. But if he wanted them to say, hey, make this 45 degrees instead of 60, they'd say, no, like, I'll listen to the engineer, but not you. So
right,
I don't know. I think you got to bite the bullet as far as I'm concerned, and
yep,
hopefully they don't chew up the whole 20 grand,
yeah.
You know, and just anecdotally too, I tell you, I'm seeing this more and more with, different engineering firms and projects. This oversight thing is becoming a huge add-on expense.
Big money.
You get a delay from a contractor, and the first thing, Joe, that you see is that technical services change order for oversight. And, Matt, I think even nowadays, we probably wouldn't even get away with our own clerk of the works.
Right.
They say, well, we got to sign off on it at the end of the day. Therefore, we've got to be there every single day to make sure. And
Yep.
They've got you. And I really thought long and hard about trying to, what the difficulties here is from a municipal standpoint is we've got to have these separate contracts, right? So you got to have your general, your electrical, your mechanical, and they're all subject to coordinating with one another, right? And the second there's a delay, they blame one another. Well, I couldn't get started because so-and-so wasn't started. And then, at the end of the day, as the municipality, we end up footing the bill on extra construction oversight. So I'm really putting some thought into trying to figure out how we can roll that back on the contractor. You can get some pretty big delays on a project, and that, those guys aren't cheap.
No.
I just had one like $200,000 in construction oversight change order. I mean, I thought the municipality was going to lose their minds.
One of the things that Mike Fiorillo suggested was that we have language somewhere that says we're not paying overtime, right? You're gonna work 8 hours a day and that's it. Anything overtime is we're gonna have to figure it out. If it means the project takes an extra 5 days, then so be it. That's not gonna cost us. Not overtime expenses. Because that's where they get you. They say, oh,
Yeah, I mean, they did it on
X number of-
the Liberty Street project,
Yeah.
right? And the
Right.
kid comes from like Westerlo, and he's paying an extra $100 a day in travel fee too.
Right.
They give you the junior guy that lives farthest away from the project, it seems like.
Yep.
Well,
So,
and they have no control over the contractor, right? I mean, if the
Right.
contractor starts to get behind and starts working 10-hour days or 12-hour days, the engineer's got to be there. So,
Well, we just put it in there that we don't want anything over 8 hours a day.
but then we don't have the ability to control the means and methods of the contractor. Believe me, this is probably we could all sit around and have a beer sometime and talk about how to deal with this stuff, because I've thought of a ton of different angles, and they all step on one another.
Yeah.
Like that, not being able to control the contractor. That's what we have now on the one project I've got. Contractor got behind schedule, now is working 12-hour days. Engineers got to be there, and they're charging, and that's north of $1,000 a week plus. It's crazy.
So if we could get them to approve that change order, that would be very helpful.
All right,
I'll make a motion.
okay, motion made by Mr. Washburn. We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Cook, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Budget amendment for compost.
Yeah, if you remember, maybe it was a year ago. I was made aware of a new requirement in the annual reporting for, they wanted to see an updated O&M manual.
Yep.
Which, when I was made aware of that, I tried to submit an updated O&M manual, and it was not nearly detailed enough. Essentially, what they wanted was an engineering report, updated engineering report that included all sorts of bullet point information, minutia, really. A rewrite, and what it turned out to be exactly is a rewrite of the original engineering report that was done for the approval of the compost facility. It's 30-something pages long, whatever. Anyway, so we pricing for that from 3 different engineering firms. B&L got that. They submitted a finalized and approved O&M manual update. We got to pay them, so I got to move $5,800 to a line for compost. Put it under the contractual line. Was the best price by far of the 3 prices that we got. And there is like $3,200 in a compost fund balance that's left in the fund balance. We can apply that money, and then the additional would come from Sewer 2's fund balance. Where did that go? Sewer 2's fund balance, by the way, is $455,000. Closed out 2019 with $455,000 in fund balance. That's O&M fund balance, and a capital reserve of $676.
All right. So we'll, someone want to make a motion to amend the budget to pay for the O&M manual for compost?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Mr. Cook, second, Mr. Losa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carried. Sewer District 1.
All right. Also had a discussion with the treasurer today. As of, I don't know, 3 months ago, we were going to ban the money for this lining and manhole rehab. And it's the commissioner's decision. The ban rates have jumped dramatically in the last 2 or 3 months. We were going to put this in with a ban renewal that the county was doing, which we are also part of for other monies, but this would have been additional monies. The additional monies would have been at close to 2%. And originally Al had thought that it would be like a 1%. Al's recommendation is that we don't pull the trigger on this lining and manhole rehab. We till next year and see what the ban rates are then. He's hoping, and he's and I don't know if it's on the dice or not myself, because it's just not, I have no sense for what that is. But it would be his recommendation that we not get a ban at 2.3% this year. I don't know if we're rolling the dice and maybe it's 3% next year. I don't. He does
Well,
not
that's what
think, he does not.
I
think
would be
we
worried
will do.
about that.
Yeah, I am.
The rate goes up, and then what's our expense that we're losing with all of this, ground
Right.
and then going out to, we're paying for that. So we could
Yep.
we could go a whole year of paying for that, and then the rate could go up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think just something else too that we haven't seen yet is, I mean, the difficulty is we're in an election year here, but around 08, 09, when that era money stuff started coming out, the stimulus stuff,
Yep.
if you had projects that were shovel ready to go, we really crushed it. I Ticonderoga, we had a couple of them in the bag just waiting, and they crushed it. They got some really big money. I don't know if that's how quick that's going to come. And my thought is, when we get to July, late July here, You got a lot of businesses that are sitting on the PPP money right now, paying their employees. I
Mhm.
think there's a second round of bad jobs numbers coming.
Yeah.
Late June and into July, when people really have to start laying people off when they run out of money. And I don't know if, one of the responses from the feds might be an infrastructure bill, right? That's kind of the big thing that they haven't really touched yet. And it is a huge stimulus. That era stuff was huge. And Dan, I don't know if you guys got into a bunch of that stuff, but it was a pretty big stimulus that helped a lot of companies. So that's a thought too, is I agree. Joe, it's funny, in the last 48 hours, the second discussion I've had on somebody punting on a ban right now because of the rates. And that is the risk. You don't know where they're
So
going to
you're
be next year.
So your suggestion is just hold off for a few months and see what happens.
Yeah, we don't have to, we can pull the trigger on a ban, because it would be
Yeah.
would be a separate ban from what the county already had.
Sure.
Right.
We could see what it looks like for another month or two.
I
But
think that makes sense.
I really wanted this project to get done this year, but honestly, I don't want it to get done this year if it's going to cost us an extra $100,000 in interest. You know what I mean? To me,
Or
that,
even 60 or 70.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
$1 million at 3/4 of a point. It's sizable.
well, it's actually more than a point. Originally thinking it'd be around 1% or less. And now it's at right now it's at 2.3. He said it was at 2.5 a month or so ago. That said, there is a budget amendment that I shoved through and Al's going to make happen. We've got a couple of invoices from Wright Pierce. And we put money into that budget line, but it wasn't enough to pay for both of the invoices. So he's going to push through an amendment at tomorrow's Board of Supervisors meeting, and that'll come from Sewer One's fund balance, which is $123,000. So that's good. And that said, if we end up holding off on that, that's fine. Wright Pierce, the engineering firm that's doing the work out there for us, they also, and I asked them to push the lining and the rehab first. They're also contracted to do a map plan report for the extension of County Sewer One to include Kingsbury Sewer One. So what I would ask them to do is, start moving forward with that work in the interim.
Definitely. If we could get that going and have that teed up for between now and year end, it would cruise right into 2021 perfectly.
Right.
Because I can dissolve Kingsbury's Sewer District 1 in third quarter, start it now and really look at it to have it accomplished in those 90 days in the third quarter. It's not a difficult process for Kingsbury, and it would line right up with the county's adoption of that NPR to extend.
Right.
And then for rates and things for 2021, you're already set up.
So Matt, you and I need to get together, because I don't want to do anything borrowing wise until we get that rate structure adjusted, changed. So we
Part
got
of the NPR, man. Now's the time to do it. Build
Yep.
it right in. Absolutely.
So we're gonna have to figure out whether we do a live stream public hearing on that, or if we hold off for a month or two. But definitely we'd have to do that and get that approved, I would think, before we borrow.
Yeah. Can you and I
Right.
get a call with that engineering firm like in the next week or two?
Okay.
How's that?
Yep.
Yeah. Just take a look at your schedule and we'll shoot some dates back and forth. I'm eerily wide open for meetings.
Okay.
Good.
I just want to get them, let them know that, because they've been very good. I must say, every couple of weeks I get an email, and anytime I've emailed them, I get a, decent response, a day or so. And
So we're going to hold off on the bids then for that?
Yeah, it's up to you.
See what another month or two brings, and
All
because
right.
you're right, I think, or maybe it was Matt that talked about a big infrastructure project, and I think the president and the White House is going to be pushing for something really large. Whether they get it or not, who knows? But I think that's right up there on the list.
Yeah. And I think the
It-
key is to make sure that Empire State Development and EFC know that we have this thing sitting here. I mean, it's a largely, well, it is, it's an almost entirely commercial, industrial side project. But if we let them know that we've got this sitting here at about $1 million, we had, again, we had two of those in 08, 09, and then we got them both funded entirely because they were right there
Interesting
ready to go.
because I actually went to the office last Friday for a personnel issue. That was fun. And checked my voicemails, and I had a call from Dwight Brown with EFC. I didn't make the May 1st update of the IUP. But he said I've got until August. He said, because of this COVID thing, he said, don't panic. And that's basically why he was calling, was to tell me, don't worry. We know people are in a weird place. I don't know that we can get that listed. This project isn't listed on the IUP now.
Yeah. Ours weren't. When that era
Oh,
stuff
really?
came out, we literally got a call from the governor's office up north, and it was hey, we have this pot of money right now that's coming through ERA in the next 5
Okay,
weeks.
good.
Can you take 2 million of it? And we were like, yes.
Yep. All right.
And having those projects like literally ready to bid was the key, and so who knows what happens in the next month or so, but
All
it would
right.
be really fantastic to get a good chunk of that funded. My goodness.
I should probably let Laura at the county.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll just hold off on that for the next month or so and see what
Yep.
happens.
All right.
The 9 Jones Avenue.
Yeah, that was they're looking for $350 reimbursement because they had to call, well, let me rephrase that. They called Action Septic. They had a backed up toilet. So they called Action Septic. Evidently it was in the evening. I don't know. They didn't provide exact time. It's in the evening. They called Action. Action got there, found out the main was plugged. So the guy from Action called our trouble call phone, because that's what they know. So this resident is looking for reimbursement for the $350 charge. They did not call us. We did not have any indication from anyone that there was an issue there. I've emailed back and forth a couple of times with the landlord, the property owner, and let them know that first call should have been to us. But I would bring it to the commissioners and see what they wanted to do.
What was the underlying issue?
It's sort of, I believe it's like a dead end main, you know what I mean? And they were close to the upper end of that main. And it had plugged downstream from them. And it was backed up. The manhole was surcharged. All Action did was go out in the street and pull the manhole, and it was surcharged. And then they called us, and we went out, we shot it, and
Cleaned it.
solved. So,
Well, if we could have solved the problem had they called, then they didn't need to call anybody else.
that's
So I don't
true.
see any reason why we should reimburse them.
That's true.
I'm
And
with you there, Bob.
I tell
I think
people
you're a
all the
slippery
time,
slope. Yep.
right? I tell people all the time, your first call should be to us.
Yep.
The numbers out there, it's on the website, it's on the county website, it's on the sewer district page on the county website. It's on our phone message when you call the sewer district after hours. And I can email them back and let them know that we do not feel it's our responsibility to reimburse.
Right? No, they jumped the gun.
Yeah, you start there, you're gonna be paying them a lot.
You're gonna be
You're gonna
paying a
pay
lot of
everybody.
different people. and You
Mhm.
can't,
Yep.
can't open that can of worms.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, I did want to make you aware of one other issue. It was probably, I don't know, it was like a week or so before all of the COVID stuff. So, well, I don't even think it was that far ahead. It was after I came back from Utah. Anyway, I get an email from an engineering firm. And now I can't remember if it was Arcadis or AECom. But they're the ones that are doing the GE water plant at the foot of John Street in Hudson Falls. Okay.
O'Brien and Gear. OBG. Yeah, O'Brien and Gear is the one that does that.
I think
The
I
tunnel?
think they got bought out. I can't. It's a woman's name, a girl's name. Anyway,
Yeah.
They-
it's O'Brien and Gear.
they are doing some work down along the riverbank, and our CSO line is blowing stuff all over the place. So what's happening because of where they're working, I don't, it's an old, they sent me some pictures. It's an old building that's down on the river. And they're doing, I don't know exactly what it is they're doing, but I'm sure it involves PCB remediation of some kind. And it's kind of collecting the floatables and things down there. And they're saying it's coming from the storm line. They TV'd the storm line. And I told them, so I replied to them and I said, well, I really need to see the video. As long as you've got it, I need to see. I'm not going to make any decisions or promises or anything. I need to see the video. And what they're proposing to do is at some point above the river depth, above the river surface, that pipe daylights out of the bank and follows the bank down. The pipe goes under the river, into the water. They want to wrap the outside of that pipe where they can see it. And they feel like that's the solution for them. But they said that there are, they see many other issues on the video for that line. So of course, it's a CSO issue, floatables, solids, that were not found to be an issue in our long-term control plan. Well, anyway, so I'm still waiting to see the video from them. DEP is aware. This is the second time we found issues with that line. The last time it was a manhole up on the, in a spot where it used to all come down. They flattened out a spot reason for that water plant. It was right there where the manhole was, and they found some offsets and they replaced that manhole. So it's just, scares me. Number one, you can't even, you get down to look at it. They must be down there. So there must be a way to get down there and look at it. Which I would like to do myself before I make any decisions. And I'm a long ways from pumping down the riverbank.
Well, you said that the at the end of John Street and
Yeah,
Allen there.
yep. That storm line continues right down the riverbank. And at some point, the pipe itself daylights on the riverbank and stays
Now,
on
weren't there
the
improvements
surface.
along there not all that long ago on John Street and stuff?
Oh, yeah, but that's up in the street. It's not down on the river. The issue is down,
So how's the sanitary getting in there?
it's not sanitary, it's stormwater. It's carrying debris and stuff from the street.
Okay, and what's their issue?
It's our CSO. And I don't know, they're worried about fecal because it is a combined sewer system. Theoretically, could be an issue for them.
I think they ought to be more concerned with the PCBs that are still leaching in there.
Right.
I didn't think that was,
Organics can be dealt with.
I didn't think that was an appropriate response.
Right, well, there's a tunnel that goes down several hundred feet.
Yeah,
at the end of that. I don't know if that's how they're accessing the riverbank that far down or what they
I
have.
don't
I don't know how they have to look at it, I guess, from over by the Brookfield Power side to see, what they've got down there. But
and I'm not sure that DEC may allow the wrapping of it, which I consider to be a Band-Aid. It's exposed to the elements, so it's not going to last, whatever it is. I'm afraid that now we're going to have to do something to repair that line and make it viable, because it has the potential, evidently, from what they're saying, the video shows a lot of different offsets that are not amenable to slip lining or a cured in place lining going in. There's also debris in the line that may or may not be able to be removed because of the slope of the pipe. That's another lining kind of issue. And usually when you line, the far end needs to be exposed, you need to be able to get at that both ends of the pipe to do a slip lining project. Not to say that it can't be done the way it is. I don't know that. But they said they looked at lining it. They're willing to pay for the Band-Aid, which is all well and good. My concern is that we're going to be required to.
Oh, okay. Do you think we're getting in some infiltration?
It's likely possible.
Okay. So
it's
from their
GE's
side-
property, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha. Now, I was trying to get the long way around to what the real problem here is to them.
Well, the real problem not for them, for them, it's not a real problem. The real problem for them is whatever it is they're finding on the shoreline and in the water where they're working. For them, that's what they said the issue was. The potential for kind of fecal and sewage to be involved in there, because it is
With the CSO, we've got a permit for that.
it's a
Right.
combined sewer outfall.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
not our problem.
leaking, and making it evidently making it onto the ground. And even if it's not, even if it's making it to the end of the pipe and there's floatables, then that's our responsibility to deal with those floatables.
Gotcha.
Now they're saying the pipe is compromised. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So
Okay.
anyways, happy days.
Yep.
Well, maybe you I don't know.
So that
Yeah.
I'm just making everybody aware of it.
Yep.
It may
Keep an eye on it.
turn into something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to see the video, I guess,
Yes, yeah. I'm not doing anything till I see the video. I'm not
because it
making-
could have been compromised from some work that they did there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they dug a 24-foot diameter hole and went down, and they went north, south, east, west with. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I didn't ask for all of their site plans and whatnot yet. I want to see the video.
Sure. Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else or?
Just
All right.
Matt, Joe, to let you know, the WL project is in before the planning boards and zoning boards at the village and town. So we're coordinating some site plan and variances and things like that on that right now. It's still early. The first meeting hopefully will take place tomorrow with the joint planning boards over Zoom, really just to kick off seeker and those things. But that, just let everybody know that project is in and moving along.
All right, and if it comes up, or if you find yourself able to, I haven't heard anything from anybody involved in that project. And I would just assume it wasn't anyone from IDA that I reach out to. I would like to talk to their engineer. I would like to, you know what I mean? And,
Yep.
And so, because they're not going to get any approval from me until we do a hydraulic study and look at the impacts to the combined sewer system.
And that's going to come up in seeker anyway. We literally have not even, both boards haven't looked at it. I've not poured through their plans.
All right.
I know they're supposed to be updating things and sending it around, so we'll see.
And if you think I need to, send me the link and I'll join in.
All Right, because they're fast tracking this thing, right? They want it closed by June 30th, so.
Plenty of time.
Huh? Fuller's gonna get it done.
You need
Who would
me
have
to
thought it would have
go
been last minute?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Go figure.
They're all the same.
November, December.
They're all the same. Ridiculous. All right, well, if there's nothing else.
Move to
uh,
adjourn.
Motion adjourn, Mr. Cook, second.
Aye.
Mr. Washburn, all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, well.
Thank
take
you,
it easy,
everybody.
fellas. All right, we'll see
Oh,
you.
everybody.
Everybody stay safe.
Yep.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.